Hey there, welcome to this new video. In this video, we'll be creating a ticket system. By the end of this video, you'll be able to create and delete tickets, add and remove members from tickets, as well as allow members to give feedback. If you'd like the full source code of this project so far, then please join our Patreon with the link below. Finally, if you'd like to get notified of new videos, as well as get support with your code, please join our Discord with the link below. Let's get started. First off, we need to create our schemas, so in the SRC folder, we're going to go to schemas and we're going to create a new schema, and we're going to call it ticketSetupSchema.js. Next up, we need to import model and schema from Mongoose. Because require Mongoose, there we go. Now, next, we need to let ticketSetupSchema be a new schema. I'm just going to quickly close those. First thing we need is the guild ID, which will just be a string. Next up, we need the feedback channel ID, which will also be a string. Next up, we need the ticket channel ID, which will be a string. Next up, we need the staff role ID, which will be a string. And finally, the ticket type, which will be a string. There we go. Next up, we just need to make sure that it isn't strict, so strict is false. And finally, we just need to export that, so module exports is ticket setup. Perfect. Next up, we need to create the ticket schema itself, so in the schemas folder, create ticketSchema.js. Next, we need to import model and schema from Mongoose. Next up, we need to let ticketSchema be a new schema. First off, we need to get the guild ID, which will be a string. Next, we need the ticket member ID, which will be a string. Next, we need the ticket channel ID, which will be a string. Next, we need the parent ticket channel ID, which will be a string. Next, we need the rating, which will be a number. Next, we need feedback, which will be a string. Next, we need closed, which will be a boolean. And finally, we need members added, which will be an array. Next, we need to make sure it isn't strict, so strict is false. And then finally, we just need to export that. Okay, so next up, we need to create our ticket commands. So in the commands folder, we need to create a new folder, and we're going to call that tickets. Next, in that folder, we're going to create a new command, and we're going to name that ticketSetup.js. Okay, so first off, we need to import things from Discord.js, so let me just quickly get that. So the first thing we need to import is /command-builder. Next, we need to import permission flag bits. Next, we need to import channel type. Next, we need to import embed builder. Next, we need to import action row builder. Next, we need to import button builder. And finally, we need to import button style. Then we also need to import the ticket setup schema. There we go. Next up, we need to module exports. We need to module exports data, which will be a new /command builder. And we're going to set the name to be ticket setup. And I'm going to set the description to be set up the ticket system for your server. Next, we're going to set the default member permissions to permission flag bits, flags bits.administrator. There we go. Next up, we need to add a channel option. So the first channel option will be the feedback channel. So option.setName, feedback channel, and we're going to set the description to be the channel where all feedback will be sent. Next, we need to set it to be required, and then finally we need to add channel types, channel type dot guild text. There we go. Next up, we need to add another channel. So add channel option, and it'll be the tickets channel where tickets will be created. Next up, we need to add a role option, and this will be the staff role. And description will be the role that will be able to see tickets. And we need to set that to be required as well. Okay, and finally we need to add a string option. And this option will have the name, so option.setName. Option.setName to be ticket type. And we're going to set the description to be whether tickets will be sent as buttons or modals. Next up, we need to add choices. One of these choices will be modal. So name will just be modal, and value will be modal. Then we need to add buttons, which will just be button. And then finally we need to set it to be required, so set required to be true. There we go. Next up, we need to set the user permissions to be permission flag bits.administrator. And next up, we need to set bot permissions to be a blank array. Bot permissions to be a blank array. Next up, we need to actually run the command, so run async client interaction. Next up, we need to add a try catch statement, so I'm just going to do this. Try catch error. Now, if there's any errors, we're just going to console log it. Next up, in the actual try statement, we're going to add const. We're going to get guild and options from interaction. Next up, we need to get the staff role. So the staff role will be options.getRole staff role. Next up, we need to add the feedback channel, which will just be getting the channel, and the ticket channel, and the ticket type. Next up, we need to defer the reply, so await interaction.defer reply. Ephemeral will be true. Next up, we need to create the button ticket create embed. Button ticket create embed will be a new embed builder. And we're going to set the name to be ticket system. We're going to set the description to be click the button below to create a ticket. We're going to set the color to green. And we're going to set the footer to be we're going to set it to be support ticket. There we go. And then finally we're going to set the timestamp. Next up, we need to create the modal ticket create embed, which will just be the same. There we go. Next up, we need to create the ticket setup embed. So const ticket setup embed will be a new embed builder. And we're going to set the name to be ticket system setup. We're going to set the color to be dark green. Dark green. We're going to set the description to be ticket system setup complete. I'm going to add to that with the following settings. And then finally we're going to add some fields. And these fields will be name the ticket channel. And the value will be ticket channel. Ticket channel. There we go. Next up, we need to get the feedback channel, which will just be the same. Next, we need to add the staff role. And then finally, we need to add the ticket type. And then finally, we're going to set the timestamp. Next, we need to create the open ticket button, which will be a new button action row builder. Sorry. Add components. Next, we'll add a button builder, and we're going to set the custom ID to be supportTicketBtn. Next, we need to set the label to be. We're going to set the label to be open a ticket. And finally, we're going to set the style to button style.secondary. Next up, we need to get the setup ticket. So we're going to await ticketSetupSchema.findOne. And we're going to get the ticket channel ID, which will just be ticket channel.id. So if there is already a setup ticket, we're going to return await interaction.editReply. Edit reply. Content being this channel is already set up as a ticket channel. Else, we're going to setup ticket will be await ticketSchema.create all of the following. Next, we need to actually save that. So await setup ticket.save, and then if there's any errors, we're going to catch them and we're just going to console log them. Okay, so next we're going to check if the ticket type is a button, and if it is, then we're going to await ticket channel.send embeds, which should be the button ticket create embed, and the components, which will be the open ticket button. Else, we're going to send the modal ticket create embed and the open ticket button. Finally, we're going to return await interaction.editReply. Embeds being the ticket setup embed. And that's everything done in the ticket setup command. So next up, we need to create the ticketAddMember command. So in the tickets folder, create add tickets, ticketAddMember.js. Next up, we need to import /command builder and permission flag bits from discord.js. Discord.js, there we go. Next up, we need to get the ticket schema. So const ticket schema equals require // ticket schemas. Okay, next up, so we need to module export. We need to module export data, which will be a new /command builder. And we're going to set the name to be ticketAddMember, and we're going to set the description to be add member to a ticket. Next, we need to set the permission default member permissions to be permission flag bits.manage threads. Next up, we need to add a user option. So add user option. Option will be we're going to set the options name to be member, and we're going to set the description to be the member to add to the ticket, and we're going to set it to be required. Next up, we need to set the user permissions and the bot permissions. User permissions will be permission flag bits.manage threads, and the bot permissions will be a blank array. Next up, we need to run async client and interaction. We're going to add a try catch statement, and we're going to catch any errors, and we're just going to console log them. So in the try statement, we need to add, we need to get channel we need to get channel, options, and guild from interaction. Next up, we need to await interaction.defer reply. Next up, we need to get the member to add. So const member to add will be options.getUser member. Next, we need to get the ticket. So const ticket will be await ticketSchema.findOne. And we're going to get the guild ID, which will be guild.id. Next, we need to get the ticket channel ID, which should just be channel.id. And then finally, we need to check if it's closed. So closed is false. So if there is no ticket, then we're going to return await interaction.defer reply, edit reply, sorry. Content, which would be this channel is not a ticket channel. Next, we need to check if the member actually exists in the server. So const member exists in server will be equal to guild.members.cache.find member. Member.id is exactly the same as member2add.id. And we're going to check if they don't exist. So member exists in server. There you go. And then we're going to return await interaction.edit reply. The member you specified is not in the server. Next, we need to get the thread member. So const thread member is equal to await channel.members.fetch member2add.id. And if we're going to catch any errors, and we're just going to console log them. And then if there is thread member, then we're going to return await interaction.edit reply. Content will be the member you've specified is already in the ticket. Finally, we need to ticket.membersadded.push member2add.id, and then we need to save that. So ticket.save, and then finally await channel.members.add member2add.id, and then finally return await interaction.edit reply. Content will be successfully added member to add to the ticket. Okay, so next up we need to create ticketRemoveMember.js, and for this we can just copy ticketAddMember and just change some stuff, like changing the name of it to ticketRemoveMember, and we're going to change the description to remove a member from a ticket, and we're going to change the description of the user option to be the member to remove from the ticket. Next up, we're going to change line 17 to member to remove, and we're going to change member that exists to member to remove the ID, like this. And we're going to change thread member to await channel.members.fetch member to remove the ID. Next up, we're going to check if they aren't a thread member. Then we're going to return await interaction.edit reply. The member you specified isn't in the ticket. Next up, we need to change all of this to be await ticketSchema.findOne and update guild ID, which should be guild ID, ticket channel ID, which would be channel.id, and close as false, and we're going to $pull members added to member to remove the ID. There we go. Next up, we need to save that ticket. So ticket.save. And finally, we need to change channel.members.add to channel.members.remove member to remove the ID. And then finally, we need to change return await interaction.edit reply to successfully removed member to remove from the ticket. And that's all we need to do for that one. Okay, so next up in the modals folder, we need to create ticketCreateModal.js. Okay, next up we need to import action row builder, button builder, button style, embed builder, and channel type from discord.js. There we go. Next up we need to import the ticket setup schema and the ticket schema. Okay, so next up we need to module exports. We need to module exports custom ID, which will just be ticket modal. Next up we need to add the user permissions, which will just be a blank array, and the bot permissions, which will be a blank array. Next up we need to run async client interaction. Okay, so next up we need to add a try catch statement. And if there's any errors, we're just going to console log them. Next up in the try statement, we need to add const. We need to get fields, guild, member, and channel from interaction. Okay, so next up we're going to get the subject. So const sub will be equal to fields dot get text input value. Ticket subject. Next up we need to get the description. So const desk is equal to field dot get text input value. Ticket desk, like that. Next we need to await interaction dot defer reply, ephemeral true. Next we need to get the ticket setup, so const ticket setup equals await ticket setup schema dot find one, guild ID, which would be guild.id, and the ticket channel ID, which will be channel.id. Next up we need to get the ticket channel, so const ticket channel is await is guild.channels.cache.find ch, and we're going to get the ch ID and go check if it's exactly the same as ticket setup.ticket channel ID. Next we're going to do the same for the staff role, so const staff role is equal to guild.roles.cache.find .cache.get, sorry, guild.roles.cache.get ticket setup.staff role ID. Next up we're going to get the username, so const username is equal to member.user.global name, and if that doesn't exist then member.user.username. Next we're going to create the ticket embed, so const ticket embed is equal to a new embed builder, and I'm going to set the color to be dark green, and I'm going to set the author to be name, which would be the username, and then we're going to get the icon URL to be member.display avatar URL, dynamic is true. Next we need to set description to be subject and the description. Next I'm going to set the footer to be text, which will be the guild name. Ticket, like that. And we're going to get the icon URL, which should be guild.icon URL. And finally I'm going to set the timestamp. Like that. Next I'm going to create some ticket buttons. So const ticket buttons is a new action row builder. Dot set components. New button builder. Button builder. Dot set custom ID. Close ticket button. I'm going to set the label to be close ticket. I'm going to set the style to be button style.danger. And I'm going to create a second one, so new button builder dot set custom ID. Custom ID, and that's going to be lock ticket button. I'm going to set the label to be lock ticket. I'm going to set the style to button style.success. So next we're going to let ticket be await ticket schema dot find one. Guild ID, which will be the guild.id. The ticket member ID. Ticket member ID, which will be member.id. The parent ticket channel ID. Channel ID, which will be channel.id. And close, which will be false. Next up, we're going to get the ticket count. So const ticket count be equal to await ticket schema. Ticket schema dot find one. Guild ID, which will be guild ID. The ticket member ID, which will be member.id. Parent ticket channel ID, which will be channel.id. And close, which will be true. And we're going to count them. Next, we're going to check if there is a ticket. So if ticket, we're going to await interaction.edit reply. Return await interaction.edit reply. And content will be you have already opened the ticket. Next, we're going to get the thread. So const thread is equal to await ticket channel dot threads dot create name, which would be ticket count +1 dash or equals dash user name is ticket, like that. And the type, which would be a channel type dot private thread. Next up, we're going to await thread dot send content, which will be staff role dash ticket created by member. And we're going to add the embed and the components. Next, we're going to check if there isn't a ticket. So if there is no ticket, we're going to ticket. Ticket will be await ticketSchema.create guild ID, which will be guild.id, ticket member ID, which will be member.id, ticket channel ID, which will be thread.id, parent ticket channel ID, which will be channel.id, closed is false, and members added, which will be a blank array. And we're going to save that, so await ticket.save, and we're going to catch any errors, and we're just going to console log them. And then finally, we're going to return await interaction.editReply, and we're going to set the content be your ticket has been created in ticket channel, thread, sorry, like that. Okay, so next up, we're going to create feedbackTicketModal.js, and we're going to import embed builder from discord.js. Next, we're going to get the ticket schema and the ticket setup schema. There we go. Next, we're going to module.exports, and the custom ID will be feedbackTicketModal, and the user permissions will be a blank array, and the same with the pop permissions. Next, we need to run async client interaction. Next, we're going to add a try catch statement, and we're going to catch any errors, and we're just going to console log them. Next, in the try statement, we're going to get fields, guild, member, channel, and message from interaction. Next, we're going to get feedback message from fields.getTextInputValue feedback message, feedback ticket message, and we're going to get the rating, which will be field.getTextInputValue, rate ticket meeting, rate ticket message, sorry. Next, we're going to await interaction.deferReply. Next, we're going to check if the rating is less than 1 or rating is greater than 5. Then we're going to return await interaction.editReply. Please provide a rating between 1 and 5. Next, we're going to check if it's a number. So let is none will be, yep, this regex, and then .test rating. Next, we're going to check if it isn't a number. Then we're going to return await interaction.editReply. Please provide a valid rating. /n, it cannot be a decimal or a string. Next, we're going to get the ticket setup. So const ticket setup is await ticketSetupSchema.find one guild ID and ticket channel ID. Next, we're going to get ticket. So const ticket will be await ticketSchema.find one guild ID, which will be guild.id, and the ticket channel ID, which will be channel.id. Next up, we're going to await ticket.update1 rating, and the feedback which will be feedback message. Next up, we're going to let stars be equal to a blank string for now. And for let I equal 0. For I is less than rating, we're going to I++. And then stars will be equal to star, which instead we can just change that to the star emoji. There we go. Next, we're going to get all tickets. So const all tickets will be await ticketSchema dot find one. Oh no, dot find. Sorry. Guild ID, which will be guild.id. Next, we're going to get all the ratings. So const all ratings will be equal to all tickets dot map t, which will be t.rating, and we're going to check if they aren't undefined. Then we're going to set them to just be 0. And then we want to reduce them to accumulator and current value. And then we're just going to return accumulator plus current value. And that needs to be in the curly brackets, like that. Let me just add a 0 there. Next, we need to get the average rating. So let average stars be equal to a blank string. And then we're just going to do the same as up here. We're just going to copy and paste that. Okay, so next up we're going to create a feedback embed. So const feedback embed will be a new embed builder. And we're going to set the color to be blurple. And we're going to set the title to be ticket feedback. And we're going to set the description to be rating and the feedback and the average rating. Next up, we're going to set the footer to be not that. We're going to set it to be guild.name. Just guild.name. And then we're going to set the icon URL to be guild.icon URL. And then finally, I'm going to set the timestamp. Next up, we're going to await guild.channels.cache.get ticketSetup.feedbackChannelID .send embeds, which will be feedback embed. Next up, we're going to get the message, and we're going to get the components, the first component, and then we're going to get the second component in that, and then we're going to set the data.disabled to be true. And then we're going to await message.edit components will be message.components, like that. And then finally we're going to return await interaction.edit reply content. Your feedback has been submitted. Okay, so next up we need to create buttons needed. So in the buttons folder, create a new file and call it supportTicketBtn.js. And in this file we need to import from discord.js discord.js, like that. we need to import the following: modal builder, action row builder, text input builder, text input style, channel type, embed builder, button builder, and button style. Next up, we need to import the ticket setup schema from /schemas ticket setup schema, like that. And then we also need to import the ticket schema. Next up, we need to module export custom ID, and that will be support ticket button, like that. Next up, we need to run async client interaction, and this will be a try catch statement, and we're going to catch any errors and just console log them. Next up, in the try statement, we need to get channel guild member from interaction. Next up, we need to get the ticket setup. So const ticket setup is equal to wait ticketSchema.find1. Guild ID is guild.id as the ticket channel ID. Ticket channel ID and guild ID will be channel.id. And then we need to check if there isn't any ticket setup. So if there is no ticket setup, we need to return await interaction.editReply content. The ticket system has not been yet set up. Please contact an administrator to set it up, like that. Next up, we need to check if the ticket setup .ticket type is either a modal, well, it's a modal for now, and if it is, then we need to const ticketModal is equal to await is equal to new modal builder, sorry, and we're going to set the title to be ticket system. We're going to set the custom ID to be ticket modal. Next up, we're going to set the components to be a new action row builder dot set components. And the first one will be a new text input builder. And the label, so we're going to set the label to be ticket subject. And we're going to set the custom ID to ticket subject. We're going to set the placeholder to enter a subject for your ticket. And we're going to set the style, style to be text input style dot short, like that. Next up, we need to add another new action row builder dot set components to be a new text input builder. And we're going to set the label to be ticket description. We're going to set the custom ID to be ticket desk, DESC, sorry. We're going to set the placeholder to be entered a description, and we're going to set the style to text input style dot paragraph. Next up, we're going to return interaction dot show modal ticket modal. Then we're going to else await interaction dot defer reply ephemeral true, like that. Next we need to get the ticket channel, so const ticket channel is equal to await is equal to guild dot channels dot cache dot find thid, which is going to be the same as ticketSetupChannel.ticketID, ticket channel ID. Next up, we also need to get the staff role, which will be equal to guild.roles.cache.get ticketSetup.staffRoleID. Next up, we need to get the username, so const username is equal to member.user.globalName or member.user.username. Next up, we're going to create a ticket embed, so const ticket embed is equal to a new embed builder. We're going to set the color to be dark green. We're going to set the author to be name, which will be username, and the icon URL to be member.user.displayAvatar URL. We're going to set the title to be ticket created. We're just going to set this to support ticket. Sorry. We're going to set the description to be. We're going to set this to be. Staff will be with you shortly. /n. Please explain your issue in as much detail as possible, like that. Next up, we're going to set the footer to be. We're going to set the footer to be text, which will be guild name, $guild.name, and we're just going to set that to ticket. And we're going to set the icon to be guild.icon URL, and then finally we're going to set the timestamp. Next up, we need to create the ticket buttons, so const ticket buttons will be equal to a new action row builder dot set components, new button builder, close ticket button. We're going to set the custom ID to close ticket button. We're going to set the label to close ticket, and we're going to set the style to button style.danger. And next we need to create another one, so new button builder dot set custom ID, lock ticket button. We're going to set the label to be lock ticket, and we're going to set the style to be button style dot second success. Next up, we need to let ticket be equal to await ticket schema dot find one. Guild ID is guild.id. We're going to get the ticket member ID, which will be equal to member.id. We're going to get the parent ticket channel ID, which will be ticket channel.id, channel.id, sorry. And then finally, we're going to get closed is exactly equal to false. Next up, we're going to get the ticket count, so const ticket count is equal to await ticket schema dot find one, guild ID be guild.id, ticket member ID, which would be member.id, parent ticket channel ID, which would be channel.id, then close, which would be true, and then we're going to count them. We're gonna check if there is a ticket, and if there is, we're going to return await interaction dot edit reply, content being you already have an open ticket, like that. Next up, we're going to do const thread is equal to await ticketChannel.threads.create name, which will be $ticketCount +1 $username ticket I'm going to set the type to channel type dot private thread. Next up, we're going to await thread dot send content, which will be $staff role ticket created by member, and then we're going to send the embed, and we're going to send the buttons. Next up, we're going to check if there isn't a ticket. And if there isn't, then ticket will be equal to await ticketSchema.create the guild ID, which will be guild.id. We're going to get the ticket member ID, which will be member.id. Parent ticket channel ID, which will be channel.id. Ticket channel ID, which will be thread.id. Closed is false, and members added, which will be a blank array. Next up, we need to save that, so await tickets.save, and then we're going to catch any errors and console log them. And then finally, we need to return await interaction.editReply. Content being your ticket has been created in thread. Next up, we need to create the lock ticket button. For this, we need to import permission flag bits from discord.js. Next up, we need to module exports. Custom ID, which will be the lock ticket button, sorry. User permissions, which will be permission flag bits dot manage threads, and bot permissions, which will just be a blank array. Next, we need to run async client interaction, and we need a try catch statement, so we're just going to catch any errors and console log them. Next, we need to get channel from interaction. Next, we need to defer the reply, so await interaction.defer reply. Ephemeral is true. Next, we need to await channel.set locked to true. And then finally, we need to return await interaction.edit reply. Content. This ticket has been locked. Next up, we need to create the feedback ticket button. And for this, we're going to import from discord.js. We are going to import modal builder, action row builder, text input builder, and text input style. Next, we need to module exports. Client. We need to set the custom ID. Custom ID to be feedback ticket button. We need to set the user permissions to just to be a blank array, and the bot permissions to be a blank array. Next up, we need to run async client interaction, Next, we need a try catch statement. I'm just going to catch any errors from console log them. Next, we need to get the feedback ticket modal. So const feedback ticket modal will be equal to a new modal builder dot sets title to be feedback on ticket. Next, we need to set the custom ID to be feedbackTicketModal. Next, we need to set the components. One will be a new action row builder dot set components. New text input builder, and we're going to set the label to be rating. We're going to set the custom ID to be rating ticket message. We're going to set the placeholder to be enter a rating between 1 and 5. And we're going to set the style to be text input style.short. Next up, we need another action row builder. And we're going to set the text input builder to be feedback message. And then this will just be set the placeholder to be any feedback you have for the ticket. And then the style to be paragraph. And then finally, we need to return interaction dot show modal feedback ticket modal. Okay, so next up we need to create the close ticket button. And for this we need to import permission flag bits, embed builder, button style, button builder, and action row builder from discord.js. Next up we need to module exports. The custom ID will be close ticket button. The user permissions will be permission flag bits.manage threads. The bot permissions will be blank array. Next we need to run async client interaction, which would be next we need to make a try catch statement. So try and then catch any errors, and we're just going to console log them. Next up, in the try statement, we need to defer the reply. Next up, we need to create the close embed. So const confirm close ticket embed will be equal to new embed builder. And we're going to set the color to be dark red. We're going to set the title to be close ticket. We're going to set the description to be, are you sure you want to close this ticket? Next up, we need to create the confirm close ticket buttons, which will be a new action row builder. Dot setting, and then we're going to set the components to be new button builder, confirm close ticket button, and then we're going to set the label to confirm, and we're going to set the style to button style.danger, and we're going to set the we're going to add another one. And this will be a new button builder. We're going to set the custom ID to cancel close ticket button. And we're going to set the label to cancel. And we're going to set the button style to success. And then we're going to add another button builder. And this will be set custom ID. And this will be the feedback ticket button. a feedback ticket button. We're going to set the label to be give feedback, sorry. And we're going to set the style to button style.secondary. Next up, we need to return await interaction.editReply. And we're going to set the embed to confirm close ticket embed. And we're going to set the components to confirm close ticket buttons. And that's all we need here. Okay, so next up we need to create the confirm close ticket button. And for this, we're just going to import permission flag bits. And embed builder from discord.js. And then we also need the ticket setup schema. And the ticket schema. Next we need the module exports. And the custom ID will be confirm close ticket button. And the user permissions will be manage threads, and we're going to set the bot permissions to a blank array. Next up we need to run async client interaction. I'm going to create a type try catch statement. And we're going to console log any errors. Next up we need to get channel and guild from interaction. Next up we need to create a closing embed. So const closing embed will be equal to a new embed builder. We're going to set the color to be red. We're going to set the title to be closing ticket, and we're going to set the description to be closing ticket. We're going to await channel.send embed closing embed. Next we're going to await interaction.defer reply. Next up we need to create the closed embed, so const closed embed will be equal to a new embed builder. And we're going to set the color to be red. We're going to set the title to be this ticket has been ticket closed, and we're going to set the description to be this ticket has been closed. Next up we need to get setup ticket, so const setup ticket is equal to await ticketSchema.findOne, ticketSetupSchema.findOne, guild ID, which would be guild.id, and the ticket channel ID, which will be channel.id and closed as false. Next up we need to get ticket, so const ticket is equal to await ticket schema. ticketSchema.findOne. And we're going to get a guild ID, which will be guild.id. The ticket channel ID, which will be channel.id. And closed, which will be false. Next up we need to get the staff role. So const staff role is equal to guild.roles.cache.get setup ticket.staff role ID. Next we need to check if they have the role, so const has role is equal to staff role dot members dot has ticket dot ticket member ID. Next we need to check if they don't have the role, so if they don't have role, we need to ticket dot members added dot map async member, and then we're going to be await channel dot members dot remove member, like that, and then await channel.members.remove ticket.ticketMember.id. Next up, we need to await ticketSchema.find1 and update guild ID, which will be guild.id, ticket channel ID, which will be channel.id, and the close, which will be false, and we're going to change that to true. And then next up, we need to await channel.setArchived to be true, and we're going to set. Finally, we're going to return await interaction.editReply embeds closed embed. Okay, then finally we need to create the cancel close ticket button, and we need to import permission flag bits from Discord.js. Next up, we need to module exports, which will be equal to custom ID, which will be cancel close ticket button. Use permissions, which will be managed threads. Bot permissions, which will be a blank array, and then run async client interaction. Next up, we need to try return await interaction dot reply ticket close cancelled and ephemeral true. Then we need to catch any errors and then console log them. And that's everything. Okay, so in feedback ticket modal, one thing I did forget is you need to change the ticket channel ID in the ticket setup from channel ID to parent ID, like that. And just save that and it'll be ready to go. Another thing I did forget to add is const AR is equal to math.round all ratings divided by all tickets.length, and then changing for let I equals 0. On the second bit, we check if I is less than something, change that to AR, and then that should be fine. Okay, so in my terminal, I'm going to type node space dot to start the bot. As you see, it came online and it's ready. Okay, so next up, I'm going to set the ticket system. So I'm going to set the feedback channel to ticket feedback. I'm going to set the ticket channel to ticket system. I'm going to set the star file to verified. I'm going to start off by setting the ticket type to modal. As you see, it's created it. So let's open the ticket. I'm just going to and for the ticket subject, I'm just going to do test subject. And for the description, I'm going to do test description. I'm going to submit that. And there we go, your ticket has been created in number 1, and here you go. So it's working, so let me lock it, just to show you that it works. There you go. And then let me try closing the ticket. Let's try give some feedback. We're going to enter a rating of 5. And I'm going to set the feedback to test feedback on modal. And there you go, it says your feedback has been submitted. And there's the test feedback. So then let me go back here and let me confirm to close this ticket. And there you go. Three, 2, 1. Three, 2, 1. Okay, so next up I'm going to set up the button system. So I'm going to do that by coming to MongoDB. I'm going to go to the ticket setup, so I'm just going to delete this for now. There we go. So if I run ticket setup again, I'm going to set the feedback channel to the same thing. I'm going to set the ticket system to the same channel. Same as the star file, I'm going to set the ticket type to button. And there you go, there's the button system. So let me open a ticket. There we go. As you can see, there you go. So let me try lock the ticket again. There you go. Let me try closing it. Let me try give some feedback. I'm going to set a rating of 1 this time. I'm going to set the feedback message to test feedback on button. There we go, your feedback's been submitted. Now as you can see, the average rating has gone down now. And let me try closing the ticket. And there you go, as you can see, it all works.